Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reacts where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Lazarus Benson titled Gospel. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on the screen. Now, I have reviewed a lot of Lazarus Benson's music, and I've typically had a good time with it. There's a wide range of stuff going on there, so we're going to listen through this latest track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Gospel. What do we got? It's very sort of like trippy already.
I'm not a pawn in a culture war, not a headline prop or a metaphor, just another voice that you can't ignore, screaming through the noise like a broken chord, preaching on next like it's Sunday mass, then they flip the script for a backstage pass, trying to sell you grace with the snake in the grass, saying they woke but they sleep in the past, building false gods at a broken ass. So fuck your truth and your clickbait trap. I'm just trying to be me, I'm just trying to live free. So here's my middle finger, yeah, fuck your decree. Let's go. I don't want your gospel in there, I just wanna live this free. I don't want your gospel in there, so why don't you just let me breathe? Talking like prophets,
great use of space.
Relations are wrapped in a meme. I see the code like I'm stuck in the dream. Scripted like sermons, disguised in a scheme. Sound salvation like tickets to drop. Which is the trend they pay, don't flop. I'm not a soldier, I'm breaking the plot. Dragging you out through flames of the rod. I don't want your gospel in there, I just wanna live this free. I don't want your gospel in there, so why don't you just let me breathe?
Interesting combination of elements musically here. Inclusion of sub-leads here with the synths. There's an interesting push to it, and they're low end with the kicks, side chaining and stuff. Sick. So that was Gospel, and it just fades out there with the reverb tails. We're gonna talk about this track more though in a minute. Because welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an actor named Lazarus Benson titled Gospel. Now, what do we think the track is about? I think it's about someone who is just really sick of what they're being fed through social media. They want to be able to get away from all of the stuff that's sort of trying to mess with their head, all these false truths and everything like that. And they just want to just find what's real within themselves, live their own life and be free of that. Sort of get away from that false gospel and try and find a peace within themselves. And so I think that part of what sells that is the actual vocal performance itself. Now, we don't just have a clear intent of expression behind it, some angst and tension within both the melodies, the choices note-wise, and scale-wise within this key signature of this piece. But it's also just the growls and the screams in the fry net interlude section there. Some of the earlier stuff that I heard from Lazarus Benson typically had some kind of like rock or metal elements here. And then this isn't something that's necessarily as present here. It's almost got like kind of an interesting industrial kind of like hip hop, kind of rapish kind of combination of that with the middle guitars. And the growls is like more of a sort of contemporary thing. I like that we're fusing these different elements together. I feel that it is authentic here. It works well. The textures and the timbres amalgamate because of the similarities with a bit of the sizzle to them. And so you've got a piece where the vocals tell the story they need to whilst being believable. And I think that's positive. But it's also just the combination, as I mentioned, of the instruments themselves. Like, I like the color with the actual vocals themselves, not just the main vocals, but all the different layers associated with that. We're not just relying on our main parts there. We've got all these other interesting vocal chops and side parts there up the octave there that add a synthetic kind of feel to that coalesces really neatly with some of the synths that we have on the sides there. Some of the arpeggios of the guitar parts, the chordal parts on the right side and the mid-range there. The 808s form a nice foundation within this piece and allow the drums underneath to platform and have this kind of 8th or 16th note groove there, kind of dependent on the cymbals, kicks, and snares. But it's just the combination of those points, the fact they're not all there at the same time, that you get development and changes as you go through. I think that's a really positive thing, especially in a track that's 2 minutes 56. There's really great use of that real estate. I think as a final note, what I appreciate about this song is the actual studio production. I know these comments might seem generic, but just genuinely, I don't see any issues with this track at all. I feel like we've got enough diversity compositionally, performatively, with the leveling of things being quite well handled there. A bit of punch to the kick, like the side chaining being more than adequate. You've got the leveling of the various sort of synth layer, the sub leads, the pads, the guitars, the bass drums, etc., the vocals, the growls, and the chops and upper harmonies there. They integrate, and you can all hear them individually, and it shows the experience that Lazarus now has as a producer, as a musician, that they're able to get these elements to blend more and more neatly whilst also maintaining some sort of independence, and you can kind of pick apart what you like and you can figure out how they join together. So I think overall, with the variety of different parts of the vocals and the way that they're all really eloquently handled, the fact that we have a really interesting sort of instrumental accompaniment underneath there with variations to the chord progressions and bass lines and stuff like that, not to an extent where it's progressive, but to an extent where it works well for a track that incorporates lots of different elements from trap and hip hop and rap, kind of rock, middle stuff, kind of bit of pop stuff. I want to sort of before we finish, just to go back to the vocal part, establish that we did have a great sense of flow with the triplet parts within those raps, those verses and the middle stanza there. I think that they came through clearly, and it's difficult to rap like that. So it's the fact that we not only knew how to sing well and have that interact neatly with the rest of the instrumental components, it's that we also were able to have our own sort of more rhythmic device there verbally there, sort of spitting on the mic there in a way where you could hear what's going on and follow along with it in a way which was just interesting, and it sounded cool, and effectively coupled with the production, that's basically my sort of positive review of this track. I don't think there's anything I'd want to change about it. I feel like we're in a really sort of happy, healthy place right now, despite the fact that clearly we are sick of social media and what we're being fed through it, and we're trying to find an alternative, a better way of life, and I appreciate that. I think the message is positive. I think people can learn from it. But thank you for watching my review of this track from an act named Lazarus Benson titled Gospel, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via their various social medias and the YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.